Hello everyone, how are you doing? Hope everyone's making some good buys, making some good profits. Lithium back up today. A few of my things in red are coming back up today. So yeah, I just got to my 50th buy on my Etoro portfolio. So I thought I'd make a quick video and just go through my buys and explain some of my buys. So at the moment they're sorted by highest profit to biggest loss. Let's have a little look at the other end. So Nikola Group, and you can see my first buy is down 49.9. That was a bad decision. There was a deal about to go through with General Motors that fell through, and they fell quite a lot. But as you can see, I've bought in several other buy-ins on the way down, because I believe in time they will recover. They'll strike a new deal, and in maybe a year, 2 years to come, that's going to see nice profit. Maybe 6 months, you never know with these things. One deal can really change the share price. As you can see, one deal falling through dropped it 50%. So a new deal being struck could easily raise it 50%. Then we have Canadian Solar. Spoke about it in some of my other videos. They're down at the moment just because they're having trouble in their supply line of production, but they've actually beat their earnings report and have been making good money. And yeah, renewable energy is going to see a big rise in a few years. So yeah, next year they're talking about doubling production, 200% production to meet up with orders. So next year is going to be profitable for them. And Zoom, yeah, I bought in at the wrong time again. I bought in just before an earnings report, and then they had a big drop under the expectation of a vaccine and not doing so well on their earnings report. But I think they'll diversify into other things, and businesses won't ever go back to the way they were. People will continue to do Zoom meetings. It'll be a new way of doing things, I believe. So yeah, they'll recover over time. Who knows what they'll diversify into with their newfound money and their newfound fame. They could move into any market. But yeah, so let's have a look at the full portfolio. It's not in the order that I've bought things on, so I'm going to go from the order that I bought it on, just because that's how I've made my notes. So we'll start with Moderna, big vaccine company. Been doing well recently. I mean, they're down today, but they have been doing well recently. I bought them. I mean, I think pharmaceuticals are going to do well as a whole. In the years to come, the focus of governments around the world on pharmaceuticals is going to be at an all-time high. Increased government spending, increased consciousness of vaccines and diseases. I've got a lot of pharmaceutical companies on my portfolio at the moment because I think they're all going to do well. Whether they get the vaccine that gets chosen or not, they're going to do better in the coming years. So my second buy was EasyJet, another big market leader in travel. At quite a low price at the moment due to coronavirus, so an easy buy. As soon as we get the virus gone and get the vaccine working, EasyJet will easily see, as you can see, upwards of 1600, and at the moment it's as low as, well, it went to as low as, what's that, about 500. So I think that's an easy buy. Corona won't be around forever, even though it feels like it has been. It won't be around forever. My next buy was a crypto. So again, I've got a few cryptos on here. They're a bit more high risk, high reward. But Litecoin's been one of the more stable ones. It hasn't seen the most growth, but it has been more stable compared to some of the other ones available. And they say if Bitcoin is gold, then Litecoin is silver. And yeah, I think once Bitcoin hits 20 grand, it will start hitting headline news, it will get more interest, and the whole crypto market will boom. Probably January, February 2021, I'd say. So yeah, and come down to my next one, Cineworld. Cineworld been in the news a lot lately. Recently were bought out, saved from going down. They previously traded for over £600 a share. High of 650, 660 in 2017. They're now as low as £60, £50 a share. So if that even rises to half of its former max price, then you make a lot of profit there. Again, once that vaccine comes out and is successful around the world, that will see a massive rise, undoubtedly. Next buy was Stagecoach. This come from I believe it was a Motley Fool suggestion. It's actually made quite a lot of profit compared to some of my other buys. Again, such a low price because of coronavirus. A lot of profit to be made if that comes back to its former glory. Then I have a crypto portfolio. So these portfolios are quite good for just keeping track of what you're doing automatically. So it will automatically chop and change your investment around the market into all these different sections. So you just invest in one buy and it automatically moves your buy around the market. So you know, if you want to invest in crypto and you're not sure which way to go, that's an easy one. It automatically does it for you. The next one was another crypto, Stellar or XLM. Quite a cheap crypto compared to some. So you know, if it even goes to £1 a coin, there's a lot of profit to be made. I say with this upcoming boom expected, I'm sure it will hit £1 a coin. Some people have predicted it will even hit £5. So it's another one, high risk, high reward investment. My next buy was another pharmaceutical, Pfizer. They've been on the headlines a lot recently with their new vaccine just getting approved. I believe it was in America. So yeah, as you said already, you know, pharmaceuticals are going to see a rise in the coming years, especially if they get this vaccine. They'll see a quick spike. But yeah, year on year they're going to see a general rise. They have good dividend payments, and yeah, this is another pharmaceutical buy. So after that we went to another one, been in headline news a lot lately, Tesla, market leader in electric cars. I mean, they've got a huge price tag. Not only do they do electric cars, they also own the patents on a lot of the technology. So a lot of these other people moving into electric cars are ultimately going to have to pay Tesla to use their technology for their chargers or their engines or their smart technology. So yeah, that's why they have such a bigger price tag compared to some of their competitors. I saw one statistic the other day. It said that I believe they were worth as much as like 6 of the main traditional car manufacturers put together. I'm just trying to find that statistic for you. But yeah, so you know, they're not your traditional car manufacturer. You shouldn't think of them in the same way. I mean, they're innovative. Who knows what they're going to come out with next? And yeah, there's another good buy for years to come, I believe. They unfortunately don't do a dividend yet, but I believe when they become bigger and start making more profit, they'll start to do more dividends. Yeah, here's that statistic for you. So it says Tesla Motors recently reached a market cap of 600 billion, which is as much as Volkswagen, Audi, Daimler, GM, BMW, Ferrari, Honda, Ford, Fiat, Chrysler, Peugeot and Porsche combined. So that's a crazy statistic, eh? So I think it's a pretty solid buy for the future. The next one was another crypto, Neo. Again, one of the cheaper ones. A lot of growth potential there. If it even reaches a quarter of Bitcoin's price, you make a lot of profit. After that, I have a very small amount on Bitcoin. I look to probably add to it as I can, as and when I can. If I have a little bit left over from my buys, or I get a little bit of dividend payment, I'll probably buy some more Bitcoin here and there. But ultimately it's the smaller ones I'm more interested in because they've got more room for growth. But some predictions say Bitcoin could hit 100 grand within 10 years. So there's still a lot of growth for that as well. Next one, another pharmaceutical company, AbbVie. It's been had real good write-up on Motley Fool. Again, same reason as the others, that have global focus on pharmaceuticals. It's only going to have increased government spending on the sector. I think every pharmaceutical company is worth looking at right now. Whitbread, I believe this one's a another Motley Fool recommendation. It's the lowest price it's been in a long time. I believe they're involved in a lot of hotels and restaurants. Again, when coronavirus ends, they're going to do very well, and they're like market leaders. They've got such a wide, diverse range of places and locations around the countries that yeah, they're not likely to go under anytime soon. Move on, we have Coca-Cola. Again, a good dividend payment. They're quite low at the moment. As soon as restaurants and clubs and concerts and festivals and all these things open, you think how much Coca-Cola is going to be getting drunk around the world. So again, good dividend payment, good year-on-year growth, a good solid buy. And down next one, another big company, Amazon. So Amazon have such a wide range of products. They have such a good range of like warehouses and deliveries and online services that, I mean, they're just so diverse, they could move into anywhere easily. Who knows sort of where they'll stop. They could quite easily start doing food and taxis, and they could do anything. So I believe they're going to diversify more, probably buy up a lot of smaller companies and see even more growth. I mean, look at that chart from 2015. If you'd bought in 2015, well, congratulations. I was trading 6 years ago and I was trading Amazon, but I stopped for a long time. I used to trade Amazon and Netflix and some cryptocurrencies and things like that, but unfortunately I stopped for 6 years. So it's good to be back trading, good to be back on it, but I wish I'd carried on, kept my Amazon shares, but you know, chances are I probably could have sold them somewhere along that line. I might not have held them for the whole time. But you can't think about what might have been, you've got to focus on what we can do for now. So next company was First Solar. Again, the solar industry is going to see massive growth. I think we've got climate conference due in November next year, global climate conference. Again, all governments around the world will commit to less fossil fuels and more renewable energy. I think solar is at the moment the most efficient of the renewable energy out of wind and out of the ocean and things like that. Solar is the most efficient. So yeah, I've got quite a few solar companies on my portfolio. Canadian Solar, First Solar. I've also got a solar tracker that we're going to come up to. But yeah, it's a bit up and down there. But I believe it's going to see good growth now. I mean, look at the spike from mid-2020 upwards. I think we're going to see some good growth. So next one, Berkshire Hathaway. Biggest shareholder, one of the richest men in the world, Warren Buffett. He actually bought back a lot of his own shares in 2020. I don't have the number to hand, unfortunately. I think it was like £1.8 billion worth of shares I believe he has in the company. And he bought back a lot in 2020. So what does he know is coming ahead? He already had a lot of shares and he bought even more. So I think he knows something big's coming for the company. Maybe they've made quite a lot of acquisitions of all these companies that are doing badly, or these companies that are cheap. They've probably been investing. So I'm sure they will see good growth. The next one is a follow of a person. This is the most followed, the most copied person on Etoro. Let's see where we can find the stat. I think he has like 28,000 copiers, something like that. So 26,758 copiers, with over $5 million following what he buys. So you know, he has a lot of buying power. Whatever he buys, $5 million follows. And you can see along his performance chart there, he's doing quite well. So that was just, you know, he's the most copied person. It's worth a shot. We come over, another big company, Tesco's. Tesco's have so many stores in so many places around the country. They're diverse in mobile and everything like that. Petrol. I think they're going to do well in the years to come. I mean, do your research, go on Motley Fool, go on Financial Times, and I mean, research these companies for yourself and make up your own opinions. I'm just giving you my opinions and what I've actually committed to buying. So I'm not just giving you recommendations of things like that I'm not involved in myself. This is my actual portfolio of things that I have open right now. So Dash, that's another crypto. Don't think you need to cover crypto anymore. I mean, you know the reasons that I've been buying it. Come over to ADA. Again, that's another crypto. Cardano. A lot of potential, high risk, high reward. This is another one of my trackers, a renewable tracker that I mentioned earlier. It's a renewable energy portfolio. Invested, there's a £3,000 minimum buy-in. It's slightly up at the moment. I think again, once we have this climate conference, it's going to rocket. You can see here the split down of how the stocks, how it breaks down. Orsted Co, we're going to come to that shortly. First Solar, quite a few that I don't recognise here. So yeah, these are good. They will chop and change and move your money around automatically for you among these companies. And come over here to the trade desk. The trade desk. That doesn't want to come up. There we go. Trade Desk Inc. So again, it's seen 215% growth in 2020. It's taken off this year, and I think it's only going to see more growth. We could see some small correction drops here and there, but ultimately I think it's going to carry on into 2021 and become one of the real big, like the Screwfix, B&Q, top trade sites. Do your research again, look at Motley Fool, Financial Times, even just Google News is a good resource. Beyond Meat, this company was doing really well before lockdown. They had a bit of a drop where the Impossible Foods CEO came out and said, oh, Beyond Meat are irrelevant, they can't beat us, or just brash, cocky talk. Fortunately, the market responded. They had a small dip, and the price is already down heavily due to lockdown. The first lockdown, they said that people stock bought a lot of their stuff and sales were through the roof. But then yeah, their products have a long shelf life. So people stop buying, not because it's not popular, just because they have a lot at home and restaurants are closed and things like that. So again, as soon as lockdown ends, Beyond Meat is going to rise. And in the more long term, vegetarianism and veganism is on the rise globally. I think it's only going to do good in the years to come. Again, next one was another crypto, TRX. We're not going to spend too much time on these because we've already covered the crypto quite a lot. But you can see it's real cheap, 0.0286 a coin. And predictions have it going to $1 to $5 a coin. I believe I have I don't know, 30,000 coins or something. So if it goes to $1, I'm happy. If it goes to 5, then that's a crazy profit. So who knows, we'll look at that one in years to come and we'll see whether it was worth it. Again, it's high risk, high reward with these some of these crypto buys. Another Motley Fool recommendation was Wix.com. Slightly down today, but Israel's second largest company. In 2015 they made $14 million, but then by 2019 they were making $127 million. So you know, it's a gap, like a jump of over $115 million in profit in just 4 years. So who knows where they'll be in another 4 years. My next buy, another market leader in Diageo. I mean, the list of brands that this company own is just so long. I'm not going to list it. If you want to look it up, have a look it up. One of the brands they own, Johnny Walker, alone is worth around 4.6 billion. So you can imagine once they own companies like Guinness and Smirnoff and Ciroc and so many companies, they just have a massive spread. So, sales are down because of lockdown and the pubs and clubs being closed, but as soon as the pubs and clubs reopen, I'm sure their price will rocket. If you have a look at the chart, they've seen solid growth every year for the last 5 years. This only lets me go back 5 years, but you can see from even before 2015 they've seen good growth every year. A few hiccups, ups and downs as is expected, but ultimately they've been growing and growing and growing. Let's move on to the next one. Zscaler. So this company is already up, one of the top ones on my portfolio in terms of percentage return, profit return, 20.2% at the moment. I did actually sell out a few of these shares just to put into some new ones. That's why I've only got such a smaller amount. Yeah, they're a cyber security company. They've got solid growth this year. They've got a good portfolio. They've got good repeat subscriptions for their security. So like all their previous companies are subscribed for years to come. they've got a good solid base there they can work from and build from now. So yeah, cybersecurity is also a big thing, rising market. All this rising hackers and worry about cybersecurity increase, so they're going to do well. This next company, Tritax Big Box, so they own a lot of the big warehouses for companies like Amazon and like Boohoo, all these massive web e-commerce stores. They have companies like this to use their fulfillment centers. So I mean, look at that drop. If you'd bought in at the bottom of that drop around £105, you'd already be up a lot right now. But I believe they still will see good growth in the future. Even just the amount of square footage of land they must own to have all these massive warehouses, that makes them worth a silly amount of money, I guess. I think it's just the amount of land needed for one Amazon warehouse. And there's companies like Amazon rise and e-commerce rises. It's going to take these big box companies up with them. Next one's a bit of a software company, Softcat. Again, look at this chart. It's in solid growth year on year. They're up 18% in 2020 so far. Even though it's been a rough year, they're up 18%. It's got a good write-up on Motley Fool if you want to go and have a look on there. Yeah, so that was like my 31st company. Nearly there. Next one, so 32 was BP, a market leader. I mean, they've got a diverse portfolio. They've also, as well as having all their petrol and oil, they've also moved into a lot of renewable energy, a lot of wind farms and solar panels. You can see how low the price is right now. I mean, it's almost a steal, some of these prices at the moment. They all look like prices they haven't seen for 10 years. So, you know, it's a good solid buy. Good, I believe they have a good dividend as well. It's a good buy. Next one, travel industry, Carnival Corp. Another one affected badly by this corona price. Got a good business plan for reopening. CEO seems to have his head screwed on with this coronavirus recovery program. The dividend is suspended at the moment, but I'm sure it will come back when this virus ends. So yeah, there's a lot on here at the moment. I mean, I'm sure the portfolio will be a lot smaller after coronavirus. But at the moment, there's just so many companies that are cheap. That's why my portfolio is so big. When we get back to normal business, I'll probably have a much smaller portfolio with bigger buys. Ecolab, so they specialise in like water safety and like sanitization. So I think obviously that's a big concern for everyone at the moment. They've seen a 10% growth this year. They've seen growth every year for like 20 years. So I believe they're a good one to watch. Good solid investment. They have quite a fair dividend, $1.41 per share. So as well as your increase of your stock price, you'll also be getting that dividend. I believe it's twice a year for Ecolab. Next one, Federal Realty. This is one of the, I'd recommend you go if you guys want to get the Motley Fool Pro, £75 a year. It's got some good stocks on there. I think this is one that I was recommended from there. So Federal Realty Trust. I mean, look, this chart speaks for itself. Look how low the price is compared to its history over the last 5 years. Another one I'm sure will recover. AstraZeneca, another big one in the vaccine market. I'm not sure why there was, which one was what, but why there was two there. This one we want. So yeah, AstraZeneca is going ahead with the vaccine. You can see there it bought up another company for 39 billion. So yeah, a lot of movements going on in the pharmaceutical world at the moment. I think people know that it's going to see such a rise for the next 5-10 years. People are just trying to buy up these smaller companies and make themselves strong in the market. So then we go on. Etsy. It's in massive growth recently with people moving to making stuff and selling their products from home. I think a lot of people realise it's a better way of life and will never be returning, you know, to work in a normal job. They want to stay at home. They want to make their crafts, they want to have more freedom. So I think Etsy will be a good solid buy for the future. Another recommendation, look at it on Google News, look at it on Stock Advisor, Motley Fool. Any of these things that I'm talking about, I'd recommend, you know, to look more deeply and form your own opinion on them. Don't just take it for what I say. Have a look at it and make your own opinion on top of what's been said. So last ones now. So we've got number 39, Neo electric cars. It's been talked about a lot on here at the moment. Look, good growth today, 4%. We come here and look at what people are saying about it. If it loads. So 67% of people are buying it. 33% of people have already hold it and holding on to it, and nobody is selling at the moment because they know that it's got good growth predictions. Come in here, look at that line, look at that spike. Had a little bit of a drop back. They call that like a adjustment. If something spikes and the hype builds it beyond its actual price, so you have a little fallback sometimes as people sell their profit. But I think that electric car market's just growing. It'll be another one that sees a massive boost when we have the global climate conference. And yeah, I've got shares in 3 different electric cars companies, all for similar reasons. So I think they'll all do well. I think Tesla will dominate, but Nikola and Neo will also do well. Unilever, number 40. They've got products in 98% of households. They have a really good dividend, 37p per share. Let's have a look at the line. Again, good solid growth year on year for the last 5 years. A few ups and downs here and there, but ultimately, year on year you would be making profit with your dividend payments on top. And with your products in 98% of households, it's pretty certain to say that they're not suddenly going to disappear off the market. Here we have another one I spoke about earlier, Canadian Solar. This one is one of my biggest losses at the moment. I bought in right at the wrong time. I mean, their earnings report was great. They beat expectations, but because they've had trouble in production, the price has actually dropped recently. So I think I bought in about here somewhere. You can see it dropped down quite a lot, but now it's continuing on its way back up. But you know, this is a long-term buy. They said that they're going to do 200% production in 2021 to keep up with the backlog of orders. So next year, I think this is going to see crazy growth and probably an increase in dividend, where they've got an increase in sales to meet up with demand. But yeah, they're doing really well. They're just struggling with production because of Corona. Struggled to get the raw materials to actually make their panels. Let's go on, number 42. Another one that I seem to have bought in just at the wrong time. I bought in just before their earnings report. I thought they've been doing really well. Their earnings report's going to make them do well, but unfortunately not. The earnings report did well, and then coronavirus vaccine news meant that people lost a bit of faith in Zoom, so they sort of sold out their shares to move into something they believe with more stock, more potential. You can see here 5 other stocks expecting up to 144% growth. Yeah, that'd be a good article to read. We'll come back to that and read that after. 144% would be a nice bit of growth. I'm not sure over what span that is, but Zoom has got good predictions. As I say, I don't think people are ever going to go back to working in the same way. There are always going to be people using Zoom meetings and working from home. People realise it's just a better way of life, I think. Nikola Corporation. Again, I bought into this one just at the wrong time. They had a good deal about to go through with General Motors, so I bought in, and then the deal fell through. And so they've really dropped. But just as much as the deal can drop, a deal failing can drop the price. The deal being confirmed, it will rise back up the same amount. So I did rebuy again at the new lower price. Double down on your beliefs. As you look in one of my my other videos, you'll see that's part of my strategy. if you buy and it drops, it's not necessarily that you bought a bad stock, you just bought at the wrong time. So double down on your beliefs, buy more at the new lower price. So when it does recover, you'll be even more up in profit. So yeah, we've spoke before about our reasons for electric car market. Again, global climate conference, banning of petrol cars, things like that will all help them grow. Aurora cannabis. We're talking about a lot of legislation, legalization news in 2021. I mean, there's a lot of states in America that are still not legal, or only legal in certain ways, and medical only, not recreational and things like that. But all of these states are hit so hard financially right now, I think it's going to be hard for them to turn down that tax money. So yeah, look for new legalization news in 2021. I think other places around the world have just decriminalized it, or they've reclassified cannabis as not so toxic and not so hard a drug. So they're all building towards more legalization, not just in America but other places around the world. Next one, Johnson & Johnson. I mean, such a big list of products, well-known household name. They're also involved in the vaccine race, involved in pharmaceuticals and other medicines, as well as obviously what they're known for, like their baby products and things. So yeah, Johnson & Johnson, a solid buy, good dividends, good growth year on year. I think that's another solid buy that I'll see good growth, perhaps not massive growth, but consistent growth. Next one, this is probably one that I'm probably most excited about, Nintendo. So we can see here Nintendo a little bit down today, but I mean, there's got 3 good reasons to buy. I mean, look at the growth since 2019. So Nintendo Switch was the most popular handheld console, and they're expecting to do a Switch 2 in summer 2021. So that was my first reason to look at Nintendo. And then the more research I did, I realised they're opening 3 Nintendo World theme parks. One in Disney World Japan, one in Disney Hollywood, and one in Disney Orlando. You think of how much merchandise and profit they're going to make from that, and how much it's going to boost the power of their brand. They're only going to do good in years to come. And then on top of that, we found out that they have the Olympics in Japan, and a lot of the mascots are going to be Nintendo characters like Sonic and Mario and things like that. So another good reason to buy. Then let's move on and look at Nvidia. So we have Nvidia, big computer chip company. I mean, I think they're moving into like smart cars and things like that, and I mean, yeah, they're just seeing massive growth over the years, and it's only expected to get bigger, where they're diversifying into smart cars and AI chips and all sorts of crazy things. So you can see again, only 4% of people have sold recently, probably cashing in their profit to move to something else. Predicted to go as high as 750 in the next 12 months. So yeah, see, there's some of the tools I use on Etoro and some of the things I've bought. Still got a couple more. So BlackBerry, they just struck a big deal with Amazon to supply the technology for smart cars. So they've seen huge growth recently, and it's only going to go more. Look at that spike at the end there. And they've signed a huge deal with Amazon, which hasn't even taken effect yet. So once that starts to take effect and they start to see profits from that deal, that's going to spike back to easily above there, 13.4. You know, and I think they'll use that money to diversify again. They'll probably try and get a BlackBerry smartphone or something like that come out. So yeah, big things coming ahead for BlackBerry. Another company that struck a big deal with Amazon, Orsted Co. Spoke a little bit about them earlier. It's a renewable energy company. For that growth since 2017, it's a crazy line. And they've just recently struck a 10-year deal with Amazon, one of the biggest renewable energy deals in Europe. So yeah, I think they're going to see great growth. Here we are, 10-year corporate power purchase agreement. Yeah. So there we go. They're going to use that money to no doubt grow their company. More wind farms, more panels, more wave technology, which will only see them grow even more. My 50th buy on the list, GW Pharmaceuticals, as well as being like pharmaceuticals, and for that reason that I've been talking about, you know, the increased focus on pharmaceuticals and government spending. They're also big in the cannabis market, which is also going to see a lot of growth. See, the UN reclassifies cannabis. We've got the USA looking to do a lot of legalization in January. So yeah, that's my last buy. You can see I've got quite a diverse portfolio, and that's it's just you know, you're not going to maximize your profit that way. If you can tie down 4 good ones and invest all your money in those 4, you might make maximum profit. Also, you might lose all your money. You know, the more you spread, the safer it is. And that's not to say that all 50 of these will be green. I believe all 50 of these could easily be green this time next year. I don't think I've got a single bad buy on here. Some may look it right now, particularly Nicola, minus 726. But you know, this is a long-term buy. You wouldn't like look at it day to day so much. It's more week to week, month to month, year to year that I'm thinking about with this. I'm not worried that it's down a little bit right now. You got to let it grow. So yeah, there we are. That's my portfolio. I'll put the link in the description so you can follow me or copy my account, or just if you want to have a little scroll through the portfolio for yourself. And yeah, I hope you all make plenty of profit. I look forward to looking back over these videos and seeing how these predictions and things have stand the test of time, you know. So yeah, I'm no professional, I'm just giving you my opinion. Yeah, hope you enjoy the videos.